We are not doctors. Nothing in this podcast should be taken as medical advice. Consult your physician before starting any workout routine. This is the Martial Heart Podcast.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host, Ross. New intro. I keep playing around with the intros. I keep having people make new intros, experimenting. I'm currently mixing 3 different things together from 3 different creators, one of which was me, and experimenting with that. I don't know. I'll eventually settle on one, but it's kind of fun. Doing that gives me something to do while I'm sitting around doing a whole lot of nothing. I keep experimenting with my recording equipment as well as where I'm recording. I don't have a studio or anything. I'm just a normal person like everybody else. So I keep moving around where I'm doing the recording. It seems like I can get my equipment set up pretty well to record anywhere in the house and not get a whole lot of background noise and echoes and things like that. But a lot of it's just playing around with the settings in the audio interface and on the microphones and stuff. So I think I have a pretty good system down now. And I have one more microphone that's coming I'm going to experiment with. Then I don't know. I have a really good microphone and Audio Technica that I've had for a few years now, and that's what I'm using right now. And that's a good one. I have an inexpensive XLR microphone that I experimented with so that I can do 2 people talking at once, so I can interview people live and have them sit down and, we can actually do this like pros. And I have a USB microphone that actually works pretty well too. I'm not using it for anything currently. I have mobile mics, so that, lapel mics that we can put on and I can walk around and record it with my phone. But I have one more desk microphone that should show up today that I'm going to experiment with. I don't know. I'm going to become one of those people who's going to play around with it and eventually spend more money than I would if I had just bought, a couple of really good quality microphones, like a Shure or a Rode or something like that, or another Audio Technica. These are $120 microphones or something like that, and I'm sure I've already spent twice that much experimenting with other stuff. I could have just bought another one because they work pretty well. Anyway, I have started exercising. I believe I told you yesterday that they wanted me to start walking for 5 minutes at a time and do that 3 or 4 times a week. So I started last night. I went for my 5-minute walk on my treadmill, and that was exciting. But the legs are actually a little stiff this morning, which is kind of strange. But since I haven't gone for any kind of a walk or anything in a couple of weeks, it's not a complete surprise that I would feel the effects of going for a brisk walk yesterday. But again, 5 minutes, I'm supposed to do that 3 or 4 times a week and slowly increase the length of time that I'm walking. The actual cardiac rehab that will be done at the rehab facility starts on the 4th. So we'll see what they have me doing and see how much I can start integrating working out at home and what kind of things they're going to let me do. At this point, they said the only thing they want me to do is go for a walk, a 5-minute walk, and see how that goes. The only strange thing that happened was that I was looking around while I'm walking on the treadmill, and if I looked up and to the right, I would get dizzy and start to lose my balance. It didn't happen if I looked to the left and up. I have no idea what was causing it, if it was just a weird angle or the medicine. I have no idea. But it was a strange thing that I experimented with while my wife was down there yelling at me, telling me to stop doing it if it was making me dizzy. But it was very strange. I would look up and to the right, and I would feel like I would just start leaning to the left, like I was going to walk off of the treadmill, which I didn't, but strange. Have no idea what that's all about, but I'm going to keep doing it to figure out if it goes away as I keep walking. But I'm not going to walk today, walked yesterday, probably going to do it tomorrow and just keep going that way. Maybe do it a couple of times over the weekend. But I felt fine. I didn't have any chest problems. I didn't have any shortness of breath other than what I already have because of this stupid medication. It's not stupid medication. I know it's probably keeping me alive right now. But the fact that it has these weird side effects that make you feel like you're short of breath, I don't like it. So I'm going to call it stupid. But as you can imagine, there have been things that have been discouraging as far as, wanting to know how far back am I going to get? Can I go back to jujitsu? I can't talk. So obviously, I'm going to blame that on the heart attack, my inability to speak. I blame everything on the heart attack now. So, working my way back to jujitsu and karate classes and things like that, it gets discouraging because you read a lot. I read a lot anyway online, and there's a whole lot of recommendations out there that say, yeah, no, you're never going to do those things again. You had a heart attack. You're just going to have to accept the fact that, you're going to die. You're old. You shouldn't be doing that stuff anyway, blah, blah, blah. But I'm just not accepting that. So I've been trying to research a little more positivity, in there. And there are quite a few stories out there of professional athletes. Granted, they are professional athletes who are in peak physical condition, who have had heart attacks and have fully recovered and continued on with their careers. There have been fighters who did it. There have been several NBA people. Cardiac issues seem to be more prevalent in the NBA than any other sport. I don't know if anybody's ever done a study to figure out why, but more NBA players have cardiac problems or have had cardiac arrest and heart attacks while playing basketball than any other sport. But there have been several basketball players, young and, in their 20s and 30s. Some of them, like Bronny James, was 18 when he had a cardiac arrest because of a heart defect that he had. But he had a surgery, went through it, and they cleared him. He's playing again. So it's a little bit encouraging that the treatments and the medicines and the technologies that exist today can make it easier for people to get right back to their life after a few weeks of recovery, maybe a few months, depending on how severe it was. There is a soccer player, and his name is Christian Eriksen, who still plays professional soccer, and he has a pacemaker installed. He went into complete cardiac arrest on the field. It was a few years ago, and within 2 years, he was back on the field playing at a professional level and played in a World Cup since then. It's a very strange story, but if he can do that, and soccer players expend a lot more energy than I plan to, with a pacemaker and everything. His pacemaker is called an ICD, I believe, something like that. It's one it's more or less just designed to shock him if his heart stops beating properly instead of constantly pacing his heart. I don't know, but the guy plays professional soccer with a pacemaker. And I figure, that's pretty encouraging. If he can do that, I can probably go roll with people and get choked out, with my stents and everything. And of course, people my age, like Bob Odenkirk, had his heart attack a couple of years ago, I guess, when he was filming Better Call Saul and the final season. And he had his heart attack and has recovered so far. He's had a couple of stents put in. I had 4 stents put in. So I had an angioplasty on one artery, and then I had 4 stents installed. He says that he had 2 stents installed. And he seems to be doing fine. He's working out. He feels great. He's getting plenty of exercise, and, good for him. So those kind of things are encouraging, that I'll be fine, and hopefully I'll be fine. And, usually people my age aren't doing the things that I want to do anyway. So if I'm going to do any of it, I guess I'll be ahead of others in my peer group, I guess, because most people in their late 50s just don't want to do anything physical. They're I'm going to hang out and relax and drink some beer kind of phase. And I'm just not that way. I just have no interest in doing that. I have to stay active. I have to stay busy. And, when you have a heart attack, they say it takes a few years off of your life. So if I intend to live a long life, then I'm going to have to stay in really good shape and take really good care of myself and try to counter those lost years if what they say is true. So, let's see how many years does a heart attack take off your life? Let's see what Google has to say. Oh, let's see. Google's AI is going to tell you, wow, let's see. According to the American Heart Association, heart attacks alone can, why isn't this scrolling? Can reduce life expectancy by more than 16 years. Wow, okay. People with heart failure, 10 years. Now, this is AI. I really want to do a podcast episode on misinformation, disinformation, because there's some stuff with AI that people need to understand. AI is not smart, and AI is not good at gathering information. People think it is. It's like, oh, it should be smarter and faster than humans, but it's not. So I want to do a whole episode just on AI things. And this might be after I, sign up for a pro plan, so it's longer than 15 minutes, because holy crap, when I have to start talking disinformation and misinformation and things like that and research, it's going to take a while. I might have to do several episodes on that, but I've always wanted to do one explaining to people how to do research, because people don't do their research, or they don't do it correctly, or just don't know how. People don't know how to do these things, and then they look up something and they're like, holy crap, and it's wrong. So you're going to get several answers when you look up how many years does a heart attack take off of your life. On average, it's saying 8.5. It might reduce your life expectancy by 10%. But it's going to vary from person to person. Some places are going to say more, and some places are going to say less. But none of them that I'm finding scrolling through here say 16 years like the AI did. But, well, maybe that'll be one of the things that we look up and have fun with when I do that episode. So it's a little more encouraging. I'm finding, uplifting stories of people who've recovered from heart attacks and gone on to lead a very fulfilling and happy life. And I'm hoping I'm one of those people. Yeah, I'm fully aware that my chances of having another heart attack are way higher now than if I had never had one in the first place. And there are risks to just being me now. But I think we're going to be okay. Well, we're going to try to be okay. And I'm going to keep you posted, and you're going to go with me and along this trip that we're taking. But thanks for joining me. And there's some outgoing music, which I haven't changed yet. It's still the same one. Because, I don't know, it's mellow. It's relaxing. It's a good way to walk out, I guess. But thanks for joining me. And I will probably have another episode up tomorrow. Doing this every day, since it's more or less just a post-heart attack diary. But until then, take care. Bye-bye.